Ladies and gentlemen, the European Super League has come out with a new proposal and it's an attack on the Premier League. I'll explain everything and I'll tell you guys why. Let's get straight into it. First of all, don't forget this is an uploaded video. So if you guys can do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're new around here, don't forget to leave a like. Yes, people. How's it going? How's it going? So let me show you guys. Let me just put this on the full screen. Let me show you guys the new proposal for the European Super League. So this is what came out earlier today. So the new proposal for the European Super League is that there'll be between 60 to 80 teams. It'll be across multiple divisions. There'll be 14 games per club and no permanent members. Although, if you do remember, when the Super League originally took place and happened, the six Premier League clubs were the teams that were involved in it originally, and they signed an agreement with the Premier League. If another proposal for the Super League does happen, that they will no longer be part of it. Right now, understand that Florentino Perez and Real Madrid and Barcelona and Juventus are the leading forces trying to make this deal take place, and they're the ones that want this Super League to happen more than anybody else. They currently are no longer in a financial position where they can bully the rest of world football like they used to in Barcelona and Real Madrid. And Juventus are in such financial difficulties that they might be getting relegated this season from the Serie A, right? They are they're going to be trying to replace the Champions League with this new tournament that they're going to be having. It's going to also replace the Europa League and the Champions League. And I'll explain in a second why this is an attack on the Premier League. They're going to try to revamp it and they're going to try to get around 60 to 80 teams to enter this tournament. Now, the question is, how are they going to get 60 to 80 teams to enter a tournament that the six Premier League teams don't agree to? And the fact that a lot of these other lower down divisions might not have even been welcomed originally in the Super League. So they're not just going to now agree to this. This whole situation is to try to make the financial situation more fair for the teams outside of the Premier League that are not making as much money. Like in Serie A, Juventus are struggling. In LaLiga, you can see that Barcelona and Real Madrid are struggling financially in comparison to what they used to be in financial juggernauts that they used to be. That's why Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus are the ones contacting another 50 to 60 clubs to try to get even 80 clubs to try to get this competition underway. They will not be able to, unfortunately, they will not be able to get the competition done without the co-signing of other teams in world football. They're going to need to acquire the okay from Atletico Madrid. They're going to need to get some of the big six in the Premier League. They're going to need to get some of the Serie A teams to sign off on this. And at this moment in time, there's no agreement that anybody else. In my opinion, this is nothing but PR, a manifesto to show people that they're still serious and they're not giving up on the idea. But it doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, right? The Super League, when it first came, it was a shock to everyone's system. It was something that was threatening football. At this moment in time, it's not something that's threatening football. It's just forever going to be something that they're going to be having around to as an alternative option potentially. But at this moment in time, the Premier League clubs will not be joining it, and that is something that is going to be stopping them. The La Liga president had hit back at the Super League, stating that he felt like this was a wolf in disguise, dressed as a granny, something similar to Red Riding Hood. And there was even an illustration of this explaining that the Super League is the wolf with the teeth, and Little Red Riding Hood is European football, and that if the Super League did come in, it would fully eat the Little Red Riding Hood, which is European football, and destroy it as we currently know it. Now, the La Liga president always obviously is saying this because Barcelona, Real Madrid are one of the two main teams that are the driving forces trying to get this competition underway. Hence, why they don't want this to happen, right? Then we move on to this right here. Big up Joe. Then we move on to this right here. You have the management promoter of the European Super League, ESL, released a 10-point manifesto just to show you guys the level of PR that they're doing, they've released a 10-point manifesto saying that their board will be based on meritocracy of competition, domestic tournament, foundation of football will be still allowed. Obviously, improve competitiveness and stability of resources. That is a main driving force of this whole thing. Number three, which is resources and and basically trying to allow more people to have a piece of the pie. At this moment in time, the Premier League is having one of the biggest pieces of pie, as we can see that Chelsea just had a transfer window that outspent the rest of the European top five leagues. Player health must be at the center of the game. I really don't think they give a shit about players' health. That's just PR. Once again, clubs competition with transparency, enforcing financial stability rules. As we know, Man City just got hit with FFP breaches, so that is another thing there. I think this is all just more PR than the world's best competition. The world's best competition right now is the Premier League. They can't even dispute that. Improved fan experience. Yes, it would definitely improve the fan experience when you get to play a lot of the best teams in world football more often. But of course, we already do that with the Champions League. Develop finances for women's football. You could easily do that without the Super League. Significant increase in solidarity. That's just another buzzword, just throwing stuff around. And respect to the European Union laws. Of course, you have to, or else you'll be kicked out. Um, then the Champions League proposal obviously is to replace the Champions League and the Europa League. We already know that. But the thing is it actually that bad to consider? I think they're going to already be changing the format for the Champions League, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But this is the main thing that I wanted to get to. The main thing I wanted to get to is that the Super League organizers are focused on their attack on the Premier League recently, and they're basically stating that this is a situation where they need to try to find a way to find more parity in European football across the European leagues. The Premier League dominates in the transfer window, and it negatively affects the other European leagues with less lucrative TV deals. So basically, they're saying that the Premier League is dominating the transfer window. You're seeing teams like Burnley, you're seeing teams like Watford, Brentford spend lots of money, which Juventus can't even afford at this moment in time. So the parity in the spending in world football has never been so distant ever, and this is why they are trying to do this European Super League. This is why they want to continue to have the European Super League continuing to go like this forever until they can get it going. But the thing is, the issue they have is they're competing against they're competing directly against the Champions League's new format, because the Champions League, they're trying to get a new format themselves in, I think, in 2026 or something like that. What is it? 2026? There's going to be a new Champions League format, or is it 2025? I forget. But one of those years, there's going to be a new Champions League format in where it's going to be like a league type setting, similar to what they were going to be doing in the Champions League, and that is going to change how that competition is competed against also. So with this Super League still being a potential possibility, and everyone looking at the Super League as a potential possibility, I don't think it's going to happen. I really do believe this is a situation where the European teams, they've made their statement very clear. This is a situation where they're trying to find more parity between their income and the income of the Premier League, and the only way they can think of it is trying to find a way where they play the Premier League teams more often. Realistically, these six teams in the Premier League, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, Manchester United, Tottenham, and Liverpool, they agreed. They agreed to a thing where they're not going to be signing up to any ridiculous deals anymore. They're not going to be doing anything where they don't see the financial parity, and that's why I genuinely believe that this is going to be a situation where you're not going to see these guys get out of it. You're not going to see Arsenal, Man City, Manchester United, or Chelsea enter a Super League, and the likelihood of a Super League to happen is very unlikely. I would say there's zero chance at this moment in time of the Super League happening as long as the Premier League clubs are not in it. If those Premier League clubs do join it, then there's a chance. But without the 6 big Premier League teams, there's no chance. Is the Super League even a good thing? It could potentially be a good thing. It could potentially be a bad thing. But at this moment in time, the likelihood of it happening is very low. It's just a proposal. At this moment in time, it's a PR. And what it would mean would be is if it did happen, it would be the end of the Champions League as we know it, the end of the Europa League as we know it. And potentially with the deal that the Premier League teams agreed with the Premier League, it could be the end of the financial powerhouse, which is the Premier League. There already is a Super League, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the Premier League. Let's get it let's get it straight. Let's be honest. The Premier League is the Super League in this world right now, in world football, and that is why they're trying to make the Super League to stop the Premier League from being the powerhouse that it is. Anyways, I'm done. I gotta go, guys. You guys have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll be back with a vibes from the six later today, and I'll be doing an Arsenal preview tomorrow. Make sure you do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to check out more of my content, you can find me on YouTube at Egal Talks Football, which you're checking out right now potentially. You can find me on TikTok at Egal Talks Football. And you can find me on Twitter at EGTV Egal. I'm out of here, people. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.